What's going on, all my fantasy football managers? Welcome to the Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm waiverwirequeen. This is the practice squad. That's right. I'm going to recommend some players that you will look like a genius in fantasy football if you start them and they produce. But hold on. There may be a small probability that they may not produce, but the chances of these three players producing for you going forward in fantasy football is high as hell. So you should make sure you have them on your roster, and they are definitely available on the waiver wires. So welcome to the practice squad. Let's talk about these three players that you should add with confidence and play them. Alec Pierce, wide receiver with the Colts. Let's be clear. They have Michael Pittman, and then who else? Because at the tight end position, no one's producing consistently. And outside of Pittman, that is all. Alec Pierce returned from a concussion, and he has been playing more, and he is starting to slowly produce more statistically, which is obviously a plus. We do not leave players on waivers who are producing and playing more because, again, the more you play, the more opportunities you have. And it's looking like the Colts are going to be trying to throw the football a whole lot because they are looking really bad. And so they're going to be behind in most cases, which means this young man is going to be able to score more points for you in fantasy football. Now, some weeks it may be hit or miss, but I do believe going forward, Pierce is going to be a huge part of what the Colts do in the passing game. Week 5 was a solid week. 8 receptions, 81 yards. What more can you ask for from a player who you have no expectations for? It's better to have him producing for you than put Darnell Mooney in your starting lineup and you're not getting any points. So this is the practice squad. Remember that and know that if these players produce, you're going to look like a genius. And Alec Pierce, if you started him week 5 or if you picked him up, you're on your way to looking like a genius in fantasy football, especially with the bye weeks coming up. Bye weeks and players being inconsistent, these guys will help you. Another practice squad player who's going to outproduce any of our expectations this season is George Pickens with the Steelers. This young wide receiver is talented as hell. If you drafted him in a dynasty league, much props to you. If he's available on waivers, pick him up. If you've already picked him up, you're on your way to having a stud wide receiver who should be able to help you going forward. He has a great rapport with Kenny Pickett, and you are seeing this. Week 4, over 100 receiving yards. Week 5, 6 receptions. Should have been 7, but 1 catch, which was another great catch by him because he's going to catch every damn thing, was called incomplete. Had the Steelers challenged that horrible call, it would have been ruled a catch. And he also had 83 yards against a very good, a super duper good Bills defense that simply isn't trying to give up any points, and they haven't so far this season. So if you can add George Pickens, then do so. I honestly believe out of these 3 players, Pickens has the potential to produce for you every week going forward because he is a part of what they're doing on the Steelers. So if you can pick up Pickens, go on and pick him up before it is too late, and it's starting to get close to that too late situation. So great ad. It's my practice squad player. Week 6 is going to have a very good game. And this is the ultimate scary, dangerous start. K-Dotting at the tight end position with the Bucs. The Bucs are looking for a tight end, right? They're looking for one tight end on that roster who can play some damn football and catch some of them Tom Brady passes, right? Finally, one of the tight ends for the Buccaneers finally had a good game, and it was K-Dot, the rookie, right? Kyle Rudolph got out there dropping passes. He ain't seen no more playing time. This young man played over 90% of the snaps. He had 7 targets, 6 receptions, 43 yards. Solid production, but think about it. If you are in a PPR league and you're getting 1 point per reception, that's 6 points right there. And then you add the points for the yardage, that's easy 10, right? That is very good production from the tight end position because there's some tight ends who you thought was going to be good this year and they have been stinking it up. Like they've been smelling real bad. But this is the practice squad, so we recommend players that are dangerous starts. But if they start, you'll look like a genius and probably beat your competition that week. Honestly, these guys have great potential, but most people think, especially in a redraft league, certain rookies I just don't want to touch. Well, these 3 rookies you better touch and pick them up off of waivers, because sky's the limit going forward in fantasy football for these 3 players. And with Otten, I'll say this about him: he's got Tom Brady, who's going to throw him the football. He was looking really good during training camp, but injuries, and they gave Kyle Rudolph opportunity, but again, Kyle Rudolph just didn't look good out there. And then that Bray is dealing with a concussion, but what has Bray done to warrant him to come back and just be the guy over Otten, when Otten actually is another weapon for Tom Brady, and Tom Brady needs weapons? So don't be afraid to add Otten. Don't wait until it's too late, but just remember, this is the practice squad, so anything can happen. Don't tell them waiver wire told you to add him if it don't work, but if it work, you're going to look like a genius, and waiver wire queen going to look like a genius. Leave some comments and let me know your thoughts of these potential practice squad dangerous ads, dangerous plays in fantasy football. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We have a lot of great content which will help you prepare every week to face your competition. I'll see you guys on Saturday. We have a good episode about our starts and sits. You need to know the players we love for you to start this week and the players we think you need to have them all the way at the end of your bench in week 6. Y'all have a great week.
Thanks for listening to the Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Blown Coverage Fantasy Football Podcast.